Agnes Richard, coordinator of the Mouvement Laudato movement in Canada. Thank you for using the Eco-Investment Accelerator Toolkit. We hope you find it valuable. Many Catholic organizations in Canada have taken the decisive step to include environmental concerns in their investment strategies, including divestment from fossil fuels. Here are a few brief expressions of their experiences and some exciting new opportunities to consider. Thank you.
Catherine Donnelly Foundation is relatively new, so we weren't exactly a sophisticated investor. And at the time I took over chairing the investment committee, our portfolio was actually not doing very well. So the process was initially to get an asset manager who was aligned with our values and familiar with impact investing, who put in place a lot of really, strong screens and aligned us so that we weren't investing in the wrong sorts of sectors or areas. But the really exciting transformation was to take control of the portfolio and start doing direct, deliberate investing along value-based lines.
Over 4 decades, we have expanded from corporate dialogue and shareholder activism, which we still do, to divestment and reinvestment based on ecological, social, and governance criteria. Hopefully, we will also now expand into some targeted impact investment. Divestment and reinvestment with ESG criteria is a risk, but our experience shows it is a risk well worth taking. Don't be afraid.
In working with the foundation, it was fairly straightforward. They have a set of principles and values that they bring to the table. They use a certain screen to grant money to organizations and communities that are working on whether that's carbon emissions or Aboriginal issues. And so it was pretty easy to take that screen and move that into the world of investments.
In September of 2014, the General Council of Scarborough Missions passed a motion to divest any stocks we held in fossil fuel companies over the next 5 years. Conversations with our investment managers became easier as they moved from saying they were unaware of fossil fuel divestment to appreciating that many people were concerned about the fossil fuel sector. It helped that others, like the Rockefeller Foundation, were also looking at the ethics of investing in fossil fuels. Scarborough Missions considered divestment from fossil fuels as one way of living out our ecological mission statement. We had also taken various steps to reduce our fossil fuel use, such as conducting an energy audit and various building retrofits, including more insulation, better windows, boilers, and a solar-assisted water heater. Overall, we're very pleased with our decision to divest from the stocks we had in fossil fuel companies, and our investment returns have not greatly suffered.
The Sisters of Our Lady's Missionaries have lived and worked among the poor in many different countries over the years. We have always valued peace, justice, and integrity of creation. And we knew when we had some money to invest because of the generosity of benefactors, that these same values would have to be honored in our investment. In 2015, we decided to divest from fossil fuels. The decision did not have a detrimental effect on our returns, and now we don't have to worry about the roller coaster ride that investments in fossil fuels can be, now or in the future.
Il y a urgence climatique. Et le plus important au regroupement pour la responsabilité sociale des entreprises, c'est de pousser plus loin nos membres et d'inciter les détenteurs d'actifs à formaliser une politique d'investissement responsable. C'est une clé d'action, un guide, une ligne directrice pour les gestionnaires de portefeuille et les conseillers pour qu'ils fournissent des investissements en cohérence avec les valeurs de leurs clients. C'est aussi un outil de reddition de comptes. Le RRSE croit que tout le monde peut et doit se responsabiliser et promouvoir les valeurs environnementales, sociales et de bonne gouvernance pour œuvrer à un monde plus juste et plus vert. Merci.
Although we are primarily here to talk about investment, I think there is a very important link to the work of the Eco-Investment Accelerator, and that is that I think everyone on this call believes that the empowerment of Indigenous people is really vital to the restoration and guardianship of critical ecosystems. And I want to make sure that we include that in. It's a big part of, I think, what has driven Raven from the beginning is seeing these very explicit linkages between the betterment of Indigenous community and stewardship of resources. You know, Raven is the first private Indigenous-led and owned impact investment intermediary in the world, to our knowledge.
As far as doing business within Indigenous communities, look at it as a partnership. Look at it as providing the opportunity for the mutual benefit. If you look at the contribution from Indigenous communities on the current economy of Canada, between $36 billion, and that's underutilizing the population growth. It's underutilizing the opportunities that the growth can provide. We're working with the Indigenomics Institute in working to get to $100 billion contribution to the Canadian economy, and that's not at the expense of Canadians, non-Indigenous people. It enhances the economy for everybody. So I think if we look at it that way, then we'll stop looking at it as a social problem, as a handout, but a true partnership.
The bishops had a cascade effect. So the bishops divested a relatively small amount of their own money collectively. And then they also said, but we are going to advise all our dioceses to also engage in divestment. And we're also going to advise all of the religious orders to divest. So there's the cascade effect immediately. And that's what had the switch. That's what had the societal impact then in terms of the political side of things.